Welcome in. Grab a drink and take a seat because I am angry. I'm mad. Yeah. Because like an untreated brainworm, AI has infected our culture without any moderation. AI image generation started out as this really cool thing. We'd put a couple words into DALL-E, and after a couple minutes, we'd end up with some beautiful creations. Like this. This is art. But we're not talking about this. We're talking about this. And the fact that I saw this proudly featured at an actual art gallery in New York City. Well, an art gallery that, in my opinion, just preys on artists, but we'll get to that later. It really happened so fast. We went from cursed Teletubby trail cam footage to impacting artists' lives within months. Sam Yang, aka Sam Does Arts, has been outspoken against AI ever since Reddit users began sourcing his art for AI-generated images. He released a video about his experience and arguments against AI-generated images, which I can link in the description for you to check out.
Now, this database Lion5B was created with the pretext of research. This loophole allows these companies to weave their way through legal regulations which are put in place to protect the copyrighted work of artists and creatives.
The short of it is that these AI image generators are using images throughout the web to train their AI models. This is done without your consent and with no regard to whether the works are copyrighted or not. Anyone with an ounce of empathy and a brain in their skull can see how this is problematic. If these companies employed an opt-in policy where users had to explicitly consent to having their artwork and photos be used to train these models, I would have zero issue with AI-generated images. Artists, photographers, and even just normal people uploading their Greece vacation photos are being ground into the machine whether they like it or not. Some people say that AI images have no soul. The truth is, it does. But with the massive asterisk that it's the souls of thousands of unwilling participants being mixed together like some sort of Undertale amalgam begging for death. We definitely reached the point where we need to be having conversations about the ethics and legalities surrounding AI images. Because AI isn't just some concept or tool anymore. It's part of our daily lives.
What is your best case scenario for AI and worst case? I mean, I think the best case is so unbelievably good that it's hard for me to even imagine. And the bad case, and I think this is important to say, is lights out for all of us.
This is Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI, and overall, I think he has a pretty measured stance on artificial intelligence. Feel free to correct me on that in the comments. In his online essay, The Intelligence Age, which I can link down below, he has pretty optimistic views on AI. I believe the future is going to be so bright that no one can do it justice by trying to write about it now. A defining characteristic of the intelligence age will be massive prosperity. I want to believe in this future that he writes about, but right now, we got to think about how AI is affecting the current era that we're living in. AI is being used to make fake advertisements that are nothing like the actual product. Sometimes the product doesn't exist at all, and the AI is simply created to lure customers into shops. I mean, let's be honest, Poochie, the robot dog from the 90s, is more advanced than this garbage.
This is a betrayal on levels that no one's ever seen!
Magic the Gathering was outed for using AI in their promotional material after CEO of Hasbro, Chris Cox, laid off over 1,000 employees, many of whom were artists and designers. But hey, at least they put out a Twitter apology. We forgive you, Chris Cox. We forgive you, Chris Cox. You needed to fire those artists. How else would the company survive? We forgive you, Chris Cox. OpenAI's new image generator has recently been blowing up because people are using it to create Ghibli-style images. This blew up so much that old clips of Hayao Miyazaki's thoughts on artificial intelligence resurfaced.
人間が描くのと同じように絵を描く機械。
But that's not even half of it. popular artists such as Ross Draws have been called out for using AI. The fourth highest selling game of all time used AI images and video. Conventions have given booths to AI image prompters over AI images are being used as screensavers on TV. I've seen AI images in New York City subway ads. Influencers are being accused of using AI in their merchandise. Our president's making freaking images of him as the Pope. And yes, there's the reason I made this whole video in the first place. I went to an art gallery and saw an entire section featuring someone who used AI-generated images. For those that don't know, many art galleries open up for free public viewing every Thursday in New York City. I first found out about this because they also sometimes have free drinks, and I was a cheap artist looking for free booze. Okay, I'm still a cheap artist looking for free booze. Maybe that's why I'm still going. But it's a good thing I'm still a cheap artist looking for free booze, because it led me to one of the most embarrassing gallery exhibitions I've ever seen. We walked into Agora Gallery expecting the usual New York City gallery crawl experience. Check out some artwork by hardworking artists, sip some free wine, and take some photos. And it started out just like that, until we turned a corner. This looks like AI. It can't be though, right? Maybe the artist is doing a bit where they fool people into thinking their paintings are AI, because there's no way an art gallery knowingly... Nope, it really is AI, and they know it. How did we get to this point as a society? I know that we live in a dystopia where companies are going to use AI to cut costs. I've accepted it. I've resigned myself to it. I know that NFT, Web 3.0 tech bro startups are going to use AI without any reflection on the ethical quandaries. But can artists at least have the bastion of art galleries to showcase and promote artwork done by artists? I swear, on my next visit to France, if I go to the Louvre and I see pregnant Shrek and Sonic framed next to the freaking Mona Lisa, I might jump off the building. Which actually wouldn't do much since it's a pyramid, and I would just slide down it and then go to France jail. My friends and I couldn't believe what we were seeing. This wasn't even good by generative AI standards, let alone as actual art. This looked like the basic dime a dozen slop you find on Etsy these days. I'm not kidding. Etsy's totally cool with AI. In fact, they specifically updated their rules allowing for AI images and dropshipping. Printify straight up has a tool on their site letting people generate AI images directly onto sellable products, which is absolutely disgusting. Etsy and Printify, you should both be ashamed of yourselves. This is embarrassing. But that's a story for another day. Something seemed off about all this. Are art galleries really showcasing AI images in the same space as traditional art? I had to look more into it. Several artists claim they were approached by Agora Gallery and were offered to showcase their art. However, they also were asked for a representation fee alongside a 30% commission. How much is this representation fee that they're charging artists? Well, off their own website, $6,250 for 10 feet of gallery wall space, $10,000 for 20 feet, and $20,000 for 40 feet. And listen, as a fellow artist that sometimes feels it's hard to get your foot in the door, I understand the temptation. I get the appeal. An art gallery from a big city offers to showcase your work to hundreds, if not thousands of people. Maybe someone will buy your art. Maybe this is your big break. Maybe this is the norm. Maybe most art galleries are just like this. They're not. The vast majority of art galleries do not charge the artist to showcase their work on their walls. The most reputable art galleries cultivate relationships with artists that they believe are a good fit for their gallery's clientele. Art collectors. In order to keep the gallery running, they typically only take a 50% commission fee if the artwork sells. Basically, if the art doesn't sell, the gallery makes no money from displaying the artwork. It's easy to see why they'd have to be so selective in what art they feature. They have to choose art that they believe will appeal to the collectors that visit their gallery. Now, let's compare this to to what the art world likes to call vanity galleries. These galleries have a slightly different model. In addition to a commission fee if it sells, they also charge the artist to display the art on the wall. With this business model, the clientele shifts from the art collector buying artwork to the artist looking to get their work featured in a gallery. Now look, I won't call this a scam because technically, all of this is known up front. I do personally feel though that it's a little predatory towards artists. With all that said, if the gallery had at least drawn the line at only including art in their art gallery, I wouldn't have even felt compelled to talk about all this. Because the art I saw at Agora Gallery was beautiful. You could see the artist's touch in every piece. Every piece, except of course, the ones generated by the printed images hung in a wing of Agora Gallery's Close Encounters exhibit. These images were prompted by Morgane Soulier, who describes herself as an AI expert, speaker, consultant, and artist, while also listing the galleries she's been featured in. Sounds impressive, but we'll get to that in a minute. And listen, don't think I'm punching down here. Morgane boasts an incredible 60,000 followers on Instagram. Though, it is a little strange that only about 50 of those 60,000 followers are liking her posts. Well, 49 if you don't include Morgane liking her own posts. Do bots not like AI either? On March 5th, Morgane posted this AI image. By the way, nice job creating an image of a plane that doesn't have wings. I feel like that actually had to have taken effort. In the post, she wrote the following: New York, I am coming. Mr. Mayor, we received a threat. It's just Mayor. Where is the threat coming from? From France, sir. No. How is she getting here? I think we both know. It's the plane. It's her plane. She continues. It's absolutely crazy. Just 1 year ago, I could never have imagined that one day I'd be considered an artist, recognized by prestigious professionals. Let me stop you right there. Paying an art gallery to showcase your derivative AI slop does not make you an artist. And it's not just Agora Gallery that she's paying off. I looked into each of the galleries and exhibitions she referenced in her profile, and many of them are either vanity galleries like the one I went to in New York, or outside of the art world entirely. That all said, don't take this as me gatekeeping art. A lot of AI image supporters consider any sort of pushback to be ableism or gatekeeping. I hate to shatter your worldview here, but art is not some mystical, latent ability that's only seen in lucky individuals. I've had my own journey as an artist. I've gone through moments of doubting my abilities, stagnation, and then breakthroughs. Those experiences are tied to being an artist. We're not gatekeeping anything. Art is literally one of the most accessible hobbies you can start. People were trying art out before we knew what a freaking wheel was. We didn't even have paper. I get that it can be intimidating to start a new hobby, but art is available for literally anyone to try. You don't need a Cintiq or even a tablet. You could start drawing with one of these cheap pencils on the backs of those urgent letters from the IRS that everyone gets. As far as I'm concerned, they're all just some free scrap paper. It just takes practice. Anyone can do it. And trust me, it's such a fun and rewarding skill to develop. I think even Morgane here can turn herself into an artist. And if she does, I'll make a new video. But until you stop buying your way into galleries and start putting in the work, you are not a recognized artist. At best, you're engagement bait and a paycheck to these galleries that have no meaningful artistic standards. Now, the 60,000 strong Soulier heads will point to her biography on Galeria Azur's website. Another vanity gallery, by the way. It states, in her creative process, Morgane engages in a dynamic dialogue with AI. She begins by providing precise instructions, guiding the AI to generate visuals, which she then refines by adjusting colors, details, and composition until the final work aligns with her vision. So she is an artist. She's refining the AI generated images. Cool. Are you gonna refine this? What is with her fingers? Jesus, Morgan, I don't even generate AI images, and I know that the fingers are the first thing you look at. This piece by, this one's actually by a friend who prompted it on Midjourney for fun. This is her version, but I think it's still got one problem. Hope that helps. Also, please explain what's going on with these fingers. Is she wearing an ill-fitting skin suit? Do we have to call the Men in Black on this one? Audrey Hepburn has got a jello ear. What's going on with her feet? Did she step on a George Foreman grill? I burned my foot! These pieces are all called New York Bites. It really shows off her knowledge of New York, which is to say, she knows absolutely nothing at all. Not a New York taxi. New York is in some pink Disneyland. Green alien text on the side.
What type of language is that?
Dry, crusty burger, which, by the way, New Yorkers don't even pride themselves on their burgers or their popcorn. Literally anyone would know to put a pizza, chopped cheese, or everything bagel on these taxis, you phony! I could go on and on about all of this slop, but let's just call a spade a spade. There is no care being put into any of these pieces. There's no refinement or critical eye. And yet, she claims to be an artist because she prints these images onto Hahnemuhl fine art paper. You're not a fine artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. At least she hand signs these images, according to her artsy page, selling this image for $2,800. Though, looking at all her signatures, I feel like the only thing her hand is doing is pressing Control-V. It's the same. It's the same signature. It's the same signature. It's the same signature. Signing your work is literally the least you can do here, girl. Now, of course, I'm not telling my audience to message or interact with this person. For starters, I would need to have an audience in the first place. If you're liking all this, please subscribe. Would love to have you here. Morgan here is ultimately a small piece in a much bigger problem. It's fun to critique how lazy her pieces are, but she doesn't deserve to be personally harassed. But a long-standing belief of mine is that sometimes people just need to get checked. A quick check does a lot of people good. Some people go their entire lives without ever being checked, without ever having that splash of reality hit their face. And so they continue to live in this delusional world where putting a cupcake, ice cream on top of a car is some profound piece of art. It's not. These beliefs need to be challenged to further the discussion. And while it's important to call out the people invading art spaces, it's even more important to call out the art galleries that are supporting and platforming AI images. And so, I talked about all this on stream. This is AI. Why is this like sharing space with actual talented artists, right? I'm like looking around, they got more. Because of course they have more. This takes minutes to make. I talked about my night gallery hopping with friends. That brought me to Agora Gallery's Instagram page where they were advertising the Close Encounters exhibit that had the AI slop front and center. There's people who are actual talented artists. Their hard-earned spots are being taken over by Morgan Soulier, this embarrassment. To have all of this just surround frickin' taxi cab with popcorn. Put a pizza on the cab, first of all. And there's like a castle behind. F off, man. A couple posts after the ad was one just for Morgan's AI images. That's also where I first read her claim that she manually refines her work. I am not real. Profound. You are not an artist. If there's any refinement being done, then why the did you forget about the fingers on the... That's the first thing you look for if you're trying to make this not look like AI. Look at your freaking fingers and change them so that they're not melting into the frame and there's not a freaking sixth mystery finger. I'm getting heated up again. I'm sorry. We have to play Balatro. But Balatro had to wait. I couldn't just let Agora Gallery get away with this. I kinda went off on her the gallery, and how AI has no place in a gallery celebrating art made by artists. The gall Morgan had to sign these and get them in a gallery is bad, but the lack of care your gallery had to allow it to be shown is frankly embarrassing. Posting a combative comment on Instagram is only a bad look. Someone's gotta speak up for what is right. Thank you for the follow. I consider that an endorsement. What if we do this? What if we do this?
Yeah!
What if we do that? A picture says 1,000 words, right, Morgan Soulier? Despite getting several replies and likes, it was deleted within the day. Other comments going against AI also kept popping up, and anything less than heart eye emojis would also be deleted. Today, the posts are scrubbed clean, where only comments praising AI remain. Now, it was after the second or third deleted message when I decided I needed to make this video. I mean, it just seemed so crazy to me that an art gallery was not just showcasing AI, but running defense against any criticism. And yes, I emailed the gallery asking if they had any comments on the inclusion of AI in their space. They never responded. Well, Agora Gallery, here's a comment you can't delete. You should be embarrassed. Yeah, you should be embarrassed for allowing this AI slop to be shown alongside actual artists as if it deserves a seat at the table. By doing so, you not only tarnished whatever reputation you had, you also inadvertently devalued the beautiful art shown alongside these AI images. Shame on you. That said, despite what these cringy Reddit and YouTube comments are saying, the future of AI isn't as inevitable as they want you to believe. Let's start with this jabroni. You might not know who he is, but you've probably seen this AI image before. It won a Colorado State Fair Fine Arts competition back in 2022. He claimed he just wanted to make a statement using AI, but he also didn't disclose to the judges it was generated using AI until he had already won. Now, he's trying to copyright his award-stealing image, but uh-oh, the US Copyright Office officially ruled that AI-generated images cannot be copyrighted as there is not enough human involvement. Now, he's suing them, claiming he does manual refinements in Photoshop. Wait, where did I hear that? Oh, right! Morgan's refinements in her work. A classic move to make it seem like you're an actual artist. So, even though it's slow, laws are forming around AI image generation. There's also the fact that AI is losing money. Right now, AI companies are being propped up by investors, and these investors are starting to lose faith that this thing is actually profitable. If the investors jump ship, these AI companies could go bankrupt or have to raise their prices to the point where it's just cheaper to use artists. But listen, I'm not saying we need to go back to a world without AI, but artists also shouldn't be forced to use glaze or nightshade to protect their work from being scraped. People like Sam Yang or studios like Studio Freaking Ghibli shouldn't have their work ghoulishly mimicked by a machine. If it was strictly opt-in or copyright-free, then I think we could live in a world with ethical AI. But until that happens, keep this garbage out of art galleries. And to the art galleries allowing this in, as well as the prompters that are bribing their way into the art world, you're all frauds. Thanks so much for watching this video. Is there something I got wrong about AI images? Is it a tool? Theft? Let me know. By the way, while making this video, I found out that Agora Gallery is actually showcasing more AI images in June. So hey, maybe I'll make a part 2. Thanks so much to Mount Crushmore, Tad Mazeltov, Summage, and Wacky Waluigi for being members on my Ko-fi. Thanks also to my subs on Twitch. Check me out there if you haven't yet. It's a good time. Until then, I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.